What do we got today? We got ourselves Dirks. Brian gonna be going first as an Outlaw Rogue. Stack the versatility, you Outlaws. Don't stack gushing. Grab yourself raw den weapons. That's what I recommend for corruptions. It's gonna be also Vin Dark Lol in here. Vindy. Ooh, I like that mog. We got also Zambo. Is it actually Zambo? It is Zambo. Zamboza. We got ourselves a mech and we got ourselves a Remaster. Wait, is this Meg the Fire Mage just on a Demon Hunter? Might be. Chernomorska on team. Oh, he's angry, dude. Look how angry. Why is he so angry? He looks constipated. What's wrong with Cherno? What's going on? Is that just the mount? We got Frostboss getting sapped out with an adaptation coming out immediately. A little blank in the... Whoa. In the swim attire. We got this Randall and Warp, or it looks like Frostboss. Is he not fighting Dirks? I think Frostboss came out just to see who's fighting next, but I don't think Team Red figured out who they're going up against. I don't blame Dirks Biden for attacking him, thinking that was the guy, but apparently it's not. Randall looks like he's going to be first up. And he's actually giving Dirks a little bit of an outdo. He's like, hey, what's up? Hey, I'm the guy you're dueling, by the way, not that other guy. Appreciate you. Cool. Okay, now we're ready. Randall coming in as a gnome warrior with a full classic WoW rank 14 set. Is that what it is? That looks good. That is not a bad looking set, honestly. I was still kind of cool. Dirks is going to try to see if he can get away from Randall for a moment. Big leap out of Randall earlier. Dirks and Randall haven't popped in big cities, but that was Dirks with a bike. Tossing in a big old bike, stun onto Randall. Going in for Plunder Armor, big Dress. Randall, though, is Plate Warrior, so Dress is going to be far less effective on him. This is all physical damage and blocked by armor. Can be parried, can be dodged, which is weird. I think it can actually be blocked if you have a shield. Stun onto Dirks as Randall is turning the damage around onto the Rogue. Parry coming out for Dirks with Riposte. Short stun into Randall, going for a few. Dirks might actually trick it out of it. Randall might be able to go for a little bit of a heal back from Dirks. Gouge comes in, I think, stopping, preventing the bloodthirst. But Randall is still able to catch up to Dirks, throwing a Mally at the Rogue, leaping on top of advantage coming out for Dirks. No Cloak of Shadows, and I think the Mally is going to take him out of stealth. It does, but no charge for Dirks. Or no charge for Randall to intercept Dirks. And there goes a Mally. Not really all super effective as Dirks was literally able to stealth through it. Randall getting sapped up. He sees Dirks actually streaking out of a sap. Not even Zerker streaking out of a sap. Trading the Stormbolt into Dirks bind. This is going to be able to get himself a sap. Maybe good buffs available. Getting those big strikes for Sinisters back to back. They're just clawing through Randall. And there goes the Cloak of Shadows. Not really a lot he can really do with a Cloak of Shadows versus physical damage. But maybe Randall will use some magic damage, like some Azeroth abilities. Yeah, maybe some procs will happen. Short stun onto Randall. That's going to be a Safeguard Trinket with a blind for Dirks. First blind we've seen today. With Rogues having a 1.5 minute blind, Outlaw Rogues only. It's a massive, massive CC utility, which should be used to lock down anyone who has cooldowns, because you can use it quite often. You should be using it quite often. Or maybe he's not playing that. Maybe he's going for a gouge with extra damage. That's going to be a stun onto Dirks. Trying to see if he might be able to fight through Randall. Stun on to follow with a bike right after Randall. Going in for Enrage Regeneration. Dirks might need to vanish out of there to deny Randall any kind of heals. But looks like he's just trying to run out of there. He's going to go for that vanish. Randall trying to see if he can find him. Got him to take at least one Bloodthirst off of Dirks as he's not super low in health. Let's be hitting that 4 minute mark in just a moment here. Dirks by just trying to see if he can whittle down Randall. Being a play class, Randall actually has a massive advantage versus Outlaw, because Outlaw does very little magic damage. This is why I recommend going for the Rod Den weapons to give a little bit extra slapper pressure. The Trinket for Dress and Bike are exceptionally effective. That's going to be a big old twist of the advantage. Stormbolt onto Dirks as he goes for a parry. Randall, that Stormbolt does deny the parry for a moment or two. Next expansion is going to be an evasion, which is going to be so much better. Randall super low on health. Try to see if he might be able to get a charge. Heal off to Dirks. Brian, the gouges and the pistol shots for the Rogue are quite huge. Throwing in a Maledict onto Dirks behind the pillar. That's going to do a little bit of shadow damage to him. A Maledict should be pretty huge, but Dirks Bind should be able to survive through it. Stun onto Randall. No Trinket available in a few seconds. Does Dirks Bind have any finishing potential? It doesn't look like he has any finishing power there. This is going to have to reset it. That's going to be a grapple getting Stormbolted gouged by Dirks. That grappling in a Stormbolted is so annoying as out. Let me tell you. Good thing the Blizzard is adding a way for us to get a faster grapple so you can move around faster. And they're reducing the base cooldown of grapple from a minute to 45 seconds. With Rogues, Outlaw Rogues cooldown reduction, it's going to be like, what, 30 seconds baseline almost? It's actually nuts, because right now it feels like a 45-second cooldown. But it's going to be really, really nice. Randall's super low in health. No more commanding shout. Gouged by Dirks. Getting himself combo points from those. Getting a stun for Randall. No trick available. I think it might have enough finisher potential. Stun was short though. Stormbolt onto Dirks. Randall gonna get a bloodthirst or two in there. Big leap away from the rogue. Does go for a short charge into grapple hook. Trying to blaze storm without ACC on him. Randall is surviving. Dirks just doesn't have a class finishing potential here unless he can lock down Randall. That's going to be a stun in rage regen as well, but a little too late. And Dirks does take him out. Had to wait until the bike is back up, as some of the Outlaw rogues have to do sometimes. Finisher potential could be really up to the buffs that you have. If you have the good buffs, don't have good buffs, have decent corruption procs, not getting corruption procs, sometimes it can be rough. Dirks gonna sap it to LeBlanc. Pretty sure it's a Gesture Warlock. He's gonna send the pet over at Dirks. Did he actually fetch him? He actually did catch him for a second. Right before he got sapped, I guess he let off a rain of fire. Looks like Dirks is playing at least one raw dense slapper. He did get the slap in front, so I guess he just didn't get any slaps on for Randall. Stun onto LeBlanc as they're trying to get themselves a cauterized rolling. Trinket for Dirks Bind off that fear. Does go for a plunder armor. LeBlanc trying to get some fear locks onto Dirks without the CDs really popping up. Stunned again onto LeBlanc for a second. Dirks losing out on the plunder armor, but did get quite a bit of damage during those moments. LeBlanc popping in massive cooldowns. That's going to be a big old infernal. Vanish for Dirks Bind used to bail out of the grapple hook comes out, and LeBlanc is trying to be in the center of the arena. In case they see Rogue pop out, the Rogue does have a dot on him. As long as LeBlanc does not have a way to close the gap with Dirks very quickly, then it'll be good. Still has a dot on it. Dirks does not want to really push into the Rogue yet. Should honestly be charging right straight at him with that Infernal and the Succubus. But not going to happen. Dirks actually going to clean a little in the rate of fire. Going for another vial. Needs to catch himself a reset before the pet gets a combat on him. Pet actually went for a Succubus CC instead of whipping the guy. Probably should have went for damage instead. Dirks trying to see if he can catch himself a little bit of a reset again, as the cooldowns for Destra Warlock are gone. This is the perfect time to fight a Destra Warlock, when the Infernal is done, dude. There's no other time to fight him, only when the Infernal is done. For Dirks, it's going to be a little bit of a tough one, because there's going to be so much CC. Between the fears, between the Mortal Coil, between the stun. It's going to be a lot to deal with. Throwing in a bike at LeBlanc, popping in a wall, which is quite a massive defensive. Aizbolt trying to come out. Dirks Bind has a cloak if he wants to. Is going to go for Gouge just in order to stop LeBlanc. LeBlanc having to use conflagrates in order to kill off the tentacles instead of being able to root Dirks Bind. That's going to be Succubus for a second. Get an Aizbolt in there. Dirks Bind has just got himself sipping cups rolling. There's so much healing. Dress is going to throw in LeBlanc, but it is going to be split between LeBlanc and the pet. LeBlanc can now by the gateway in order to get the hell out of there. Get it out of dodge. Does Dirks Bind have a grapple? He does. Does he have a kick? I think he just missed his kick for a second. It's going to be Twisted Appendage again. Breaking out the Twisted Appendages. Unable to use those slows roots onto Dirks Bind. Is it still getting the big damage to LeBlanc? Locking him out on the Aizbolt. Might actually have him on a roll here. Does the Succubus go for any CC? Fear trying to come out. It's going to be a vanish for Dirks Bind with an ambush. Stunning again until LeBlanc actually taken down to Destra Warlock with a plunder armor, just stealing all of their clothes. Not like they have a lot to work with there. And Cherno is going to be up next as a Retribution. Paladin drinking it out of a Gouge blind bubbling it, just trying to do everything to take down Dirks Bind. As he'll be the first man on Team Blue to go down. Hodgin and Dirks shrink inside of it. I think Dirks looked like he tried to go for Reaping Flames onto Cherno. That's going to be a big blood of the enemy available. Cherno trying to maximize the blood of the enemy damage. But that's going to be even more CC out of the Rogue. Went for the parry. Stun onto Cherno. It needs to catch himself a reset as he's getting himself, it becomes back up and running. Haste anyone? Was that Warlock running full haze build? He might have. No, I don't think his Aizbolts were that fast. What are they? High Mastery build. Isn't a High Mastery build better now instead of Versa? Because Mastery's a bit RNG, but it can do defensive. That's so weird with Jester Warlock's aim. A Master that can sometimes increase the damage of abilities at a random interval between like 1 and 10. And can reduce the amount of damage you take at a random interval between 1 and 10. It's so weird. It's like versatility with an RNG. When did they add this? Was that back in Legion? That's crazy. Cheap shot by Dirks as he's getting back into Cherno. Cherno went through Bubble and Shield of Vengeance trying to catch Dirks Bind. He's trying to catch the criminal on the run in the name of justice, but looks like this man is not the law. Popping in his own Dreadnought Racial for a little bit extra healing, but the 30% dampening. That healing is very minimal, only 20% of health over 5 seconds, I think. It's going to be Cloaker Shadows or 20 seconds maybe. There's buying Cloak of Shadows after that, or Hodge, trying to maximize the damage on Eterno, and that's going to be enough to take him down. Warport going to be up next, dropping down Infernal with cooldowns immediately. Needs to catch up to Dirks right now. This man is just committing so much damage. Stunning one side of the arena, of that room. Cataclysm on the other. This man just blew his load in the opener, and he has a full corruption. He's actually at a point where a thing from beyond is definitely going to come out, so Darksbrine can actually utilize it to his advantage. He just needs to keep constantly tagging Warport, doing some sort of damage, even if it's just pistol shots around the corner. He needs to be doing the damage to this man constantly, but Warport played his hand maybe a little too early with an Infernal coming out immediately. Trink is a cheap shot off the bat. And Dirks is going to try to stay on him. Does actually get a clean dress. A solo dress onto Warport. Trinkets out of that Mortal Coil. That's going to be Fear to follow. Fast Casbolts get interrupted at one of the Casbolts. Needs to make sure he's always tagging Warport. Eventually, a Think from Beyond will spawn. Dirks does not have a Cloak of Shadows, though. He has a Vanish if he needs to. Think from Beyond spawning. Casbolt and Dirks, but he's a Think from Beyond. Uses a Cloak. Actually hits him so hard. And Dirks taking him out, leveraging the Think from Beyond. With Frost Boss, the last man standing. Oh my goodness. This whole team red is just getting shred. Ed. I couldn't rhyme that one. Sorry, boys. But it's going to be Frost versus Dirks, where it began. With Dirks Bride attacking him early. And Frostboss being like, yo, I'm not the guy you're fighting. It all comes down to this. Dirks going in for a cycle of CC onto Frost. Is going to throw down a bike at the guy. Dirks has cooldowns coming back little by little. Frostboss got a lot of spirits all around him. What is this? What is that? The legendary effect? Why is he so... Is that the legendary weapon effect? Is he actually using the legendary weapon? Is that what's going on? I don't understand what's going on. Is he actually using legendary? Or is it just transmog that just makes him... for legendary do that? It's going to be full cooldowns for Frostboss, AMS for the Tentacle, IBF to get out of that stun into a death back early while dampening is super high. Wants to gain himself a pull of health as early as possible. Boys, can someone confirm if he's using the actual legendary weapon, or is that just like a transmog effect for using that weapon as your transmog? Or is that a toy? Could someone confirm and or deny? Because I cannot tell. I've never seen this before. That's going to be a cheap shot onto Frostboss with Dirks trying to get the big old setup back to back. Stun locking down Frostboss with a stun to follow by the DK. Still holding on to Trinket. Actually, he's adaptation. It's actually adaptation. It's not like he can actually use it. Looks like a Winter's Grasp illusion. Is that what it is? It's like a weapon illusion? I guess it's cool. Dirksman super high on health. Got him some parry coming up soon. So that's going to be plunder armor onto Frostboss. Stun locking it right now. That's going to be tricking for Frostboss with that adaptation AMS available, but can't really stop the pure physical damage of Dirks. And down he goes with Dirks, eliminating the full team red by himself. Solo man action right there. As the rest of the team didn't even get a chance to play. 8,000 damage. That's actually pretty good. Actually did really, really well. How many slappers are you running for Dirks? I think we're running like, I want to feel like with the amount of procs you had, I think it's like 1. Oh, you're running a bunch of Gushing Wood actually. Oh, really? I think it's a 1 slapper. I think it's a Mindflay Tentacle and a couple of Gushings. I never found Gushings to be that good for Outlaw, but they could be pretty okay. Pretty okay for sure. Alright, let's see who's up next, boys.